Our old social order is collapsing all around us.
We have a mission to make Britain a country that works, not for the privileged and not for the few, but for every one of our citizens. And together, we, the Conservative Party, can build a better Britain.
She's a liar, liar. Oh, she's a liar, liar. No, you can't trust her. No.
Call it neoliberalism, call it free market fundamentalism, but an order of privatisation, of deregulation, of weakened trade unions, of low taxes on the rich and big business, that order is falling apart all around us. It gives us rip-off and inefficient utilities, like the railways, like energy.
They're strong and stable, won't disguise. We're still being taken for a ride. The nurses going hungry, schools in decline. I don't recognize this broken country of mine. They're having a laugh, they show them the door, then cut the rich, not the poor.
I've been very clear that I think
Crowds of protesters gathered outside Downing Street in London earlier as calls grow for the resignation of the UK's Prime Minister. Many do see Theresa May's position as untenable following her party's election upset and her reaction to Wednesday's tower block fire in which at least 30 people died. With more, here's Anasir Chorkana.
We're right outside Downing Street where, if you can see, hundreds of people have gathered to protest against Theresa May's government. This was originally intended to be a protest addressing the issues following the election. Lots of people have been saying they're unhappy with the snap election that Theresa May called and the following coalition that was formed with the DUP. And this was the original reason. But since the tragedy with the Grenfell Tower, where, as we know, of course, 30 people confirmed dead, more expected to be announced, and really hundreds left homeless following what unraveled there. All of these people are saying this has become the final straw with the unhappiness following the decisions that this government has been making, because a lot of them who have been gathered here today are saying that what happened with Grenfell was some of it had to do with the austerity measures that had been carried out for years now by the Conservative parties. Certainly lots of calls for answers. They're saying they want to know the real numbers of how many people had died. They're saying the death toll is going to be much larger and officials are not telling them enough. There are lots of concerns about whether or not this could have been prevented, considering some of the material used in the reconstruction works that were carried out. And what happened with Grenfell Tower is by many here seen as something that's just a symbol of the huge disparity that exists here in the UK and in London between the wealthier and those who are a little less well off.
Anasir Chorkana there. Well, meanwhile, people have been paying their respects to the victims close to the burnt-out tower, and among them was former world champion boxer Amir Khan.
I really believe that we can.
That did not come out. Did not defend Theresa May. She did not come out.
Yeah, you're 100%.
Oh, thanks. Bro,
they come to you because you're a celebrity.
But look, we are going to tell the truth and we want to know the answers.
God save the Queen, the fascist regime, they made you a moron.
This sums up Britain to me, totally. The garbage, the mess of it down the alleyway, the tattered flags, you know. And I know they're English flags, but so what? I mean, that's how confusing Britain is. It's a flag, that's all it is, but it's tattered. It's sad, but at the same time it made me laugh because it so reminds me of my childhood. Junk everywhere, really, you know, overgrown vegetation.
A dogma that put profit ahead of a wider social good gave us the financial crash and all that followed since. It has failed to provide the decent and affordable housing, the well-paid secure jobs, the increasing living standards, the world-class services that should be the birthright of every single citizen of one of the wealthiest societies that has ever existed.
There's a number of things, they're very simple, very basic questions we should ask ourselves. Is it right that so many people in our country have no home to live in and only a street to sleep on? Is it right that so many people are frightened of where they live at the moment, having seen the horrors of what happened in Grenfell Tower?
Come brothers and sisters.
Is it right that so many people live in such poverty in a society surrounded by such riches? No, it obviously is not.
Old England, in old England, very hard time. The queue at the food bank, it grows every day. My acid-stripped country is given away to those who would stab you while smiling away.
One of the most telling things I ever saw about the London real estate market was anytime you see some like big house like this snatched up by an oligarch from one place like Russia or Global South, I mean, that's another hospital that didn't get built in the third world. I mean, that's what this money is.
Our collapsing social order isn't just unjust, it isn't just unfair, it's irrational, it's unsustainable, and it's time to be bold. And that means building a genuinely socialist society running the interests of the real majority, not those at the top.
Government that doesn't think that fascism is where it's at, 'cause putting the mother of all bombs into tiny hands.
It will put needs and aspirations ahead of profit for the vested interest.
And feel inspired, do everything in your power you can. People rising up is the only plan.
When future generations look back at this time, they will judge us.
What are these people ever going to do for us except confuse us?
We made of that decision. They will see that we shaped them a brighter future. They will know that we built them a better Britain.
She's a liar, liar. She's a liar, liar. You can't trust her.
First past the post, sees them sneak into power. They turn back my country, hour after hour. In an outdated system, where the cronies can fly. Singing all the hard times of old England. With 5 years to go until daylight descends. Seems such a long time, but hang on my friends. We'll kick out the bastards and start over again. Singing all the hard times of old England.
It will extend democracy to every sphere of life, from the economy to the workplace.
That politics is about the lives of all of us. And the wonderful campaign that I was involved with, that I was so proud to lead, brought a lot of people back into politics because they believed there was something on offer for them. They should accept low wages, they should accept insecurity, and they should see it as just part of life. Well, it didn't quite work out like that, did it? And you know what? That politics that got out of the box is not going back in any box, because we're there demanding and achieving something very different in our society and our lives.
All victims of oppression, for the tyrants be yours.
Socialism is coming.
Don't cling so hard to your possessions, for you have nothing if you have no.
Let us be together and recognise another world is possible if we come together to understand that, understand the power we've got, and achieve that decent, better society where everyone matters and those poverty-stricken people are enriched in their lives and the rest of us are made secure by their enrichment. Thank you very much.
The Internationale unites the world in song. So comrades can rally, for this is the time and man.
A recent poll found that 43% of British thought a genuinely socialist government would make Britain a better place to live, with only 36% saying it would make it worse.
One build walls to divide us, walls of hatred nor walls of stone. Come greet the dawn and stand beside.
Our collapsing social order isn't just unjust, it isn't just unfair, it's irrational, it's unsustainable, and it's time to be bold. And that means building a genuinely socialist society, running the interests of the real majority, not those at the top.
On which to live, so
healthcare as a human right for all of us. Nothing was given from above. Nothing was given from above by the elites and the powerful. It was only ever gained from below by the masses of people demanding something better, demanding their share of the wealth and the cake that is created.
I'm not specifically trying to fit into any genre other than being honest to my own sense of emotional responsibility towards other people, and the only way to do that properly is by ignoring trends.
So there's an election coming up on June 8th in the UK to pick the next Prime Minister. So right now the top contenders are the current Prime Minister, Theresa May, who's of the Conservative Party, and then there's also Jeremy Corbyn, who represents the Labour Party. So Jeremy Corbyn right now is being painted as this far crazy leftist, mainly by people who are wealthy and powerful. So
you know what? The commentariat got it wrong. The elites got it wrong.
I mean, if this is what people are attacking Jeremy Corbyn on, something that was written in a magazine that he wrote for 35 years ago, then there really isn't that much to attack him on, is there?
Rise like lions after slumber. In, shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep fall on you. Ye are many, they are few. Thank you very much, Glastonbury. Thank you for inviting me here today. I'm proud to be here.
He belongs
Thank you
in a
very much,
student
Glastonbury.
canteen in a really run-down university, and that's about his level.
Not a fan then.
No, could never be.
Oh, I think I know what my mother would say. I think she'd look across the dispatch box and she'd say, put on a proper suit, do up your tie, and sing the national anthem.